Okay, so now we're going to look at contingency tables and mosaic plots. Contingency tables are also called cross-tabulation or crosstab tables. So let's go through. Let's see. First, click the link to download CSV. I've already done that. My CSV is downloaded. It's called mosaicdata.csv. Then upload your CSV to your Google Drive. I've done that. Mount your Google Drive to Google Colab and authorize Colab to access Google Drive. Done that too. Then read the CSV file into Python as a data frame. That's what I'm about to do right now. So in order to read this CSV file, I'm going to go to Google Colab here so I can type Python code. And I'm going to create a data frame using that CSV I downloaded. In order to create a data frame, we need an API or a library in Python called pandas. So I'm going to import pandas. That's what I'm going to use to create the data frame, and I'm going to give it a nickname. I'm going to import it as PD. That's its alias. So pandas usually gets the alias PD, so we can call it without having to type out the whole PANDAS. Then I'm going to create the data frame. Now I'm going to give it the name DF for data frame, and it's going to equal PD, which means I'm calling pandas. Pandas has a method or a function called read_CSV. So I'm going to use that read_CSV function to read the CSV, and all I have to do is read this is feed the read CSV function the file name in quotation marks, the file path. So I put my single quotations there, and I'm going to find the file path by coming over to files. Here is the actual data file because I mounted it and I loaded it and all that stuff. When I go over to these three vertical dots and click it, I can copy the file path. And I can paste the file path here. That is the path to the mosaicdata.csv. So these two lines will create the data frame. If you want to look at the data frame, you can always do df.head to see what the top of the data frame looks like. So let's run this code. And there I see the data frame here. I have gender, which is M's and F's it looks like. And I have college degree, which is N's and Y's it looks like. If you want to know what all that means, it says the data set legend is shown below. Here's the legend. Gender, F means female, M means male. College degree, Y means yes, I have a college degree. N means no, I do not have a college degree. So the legend is there. And that's what the data frame looks like. Now we're going to actually go ahead and create the contingency or crosstab table. So to create the crosstab table, I'm going to add a code cell. And the code I need to create this crosstab, well, I'm going to call it AX. That's going to be the name of my contingency table. And it's going to equal, well, once again, I'm going to use pandas, PD. And pandas actually has a method called crosstab. So if you didn't know that a contingency table and a crosstab are the same, it would make this a bit difficult. But they're the same thing pretty much here. Then you just have to tell it which two variables you want to do a cross tabulation with. These have to be categorical variables. So I'm going to give it the two categorical variables in the data frame. So one of them is df, and I'm going to make a bracket and give the name of the gender variable. So gender is the first variable I want to use. Then I'm going to put a comma, and I'm going to do the other variable df, open bracket here. And the other variable was college degree. So it was college plus degree. So those are the two variables. And the last parameter I want to put in here, I want to put a comma, and it's margins. Margins, I want to set that equal to TRUE. So I want the margins to be true. And then the second line that I need to actually print out this crosstab or contingency table is the print function. So I'm going to print AX, which is my crosstab. When I run this, it prints out the cross tabulation. So what do I know? I know that I have 25 females that said no to college degree, and I have 52 females that said yes out of a total of 77 females. I have 73 males that said no college degree, 21 that said yes out of 94 total males. And of course, the totals are along the last column and the bottom row. With that, you can fill out this. How many females have college degrees? How many females do not have? How many males do and how many males do not? Once you fill that out, you need to create a Mosaic plot and paste it in here. So take a screenshot of your Mosaic plot and paste it in here. So let's go ahead and create that Mosaic plot. Mosaic plot is more complicated code-wise than the contingency table. Let's add a code cell though and get to it. So we're going to need two other libraries. Pandas is not enough for a Mosaic plot. I'm going to import stats models.graphics.mosaic plot. So from stats models, so there's stats models, and there's a part of stat models called graphics. So I'm going to go to the specific part of stat models graphics, and then within graphics there's something called a Mosaic plot. So there it is, Mosaic plot. And out of that, I'm going to import the thing called specifically Mosaic. So Mosaic is the one I'm going to get there. All right. Now, I'm also going to import another API or library called matplotlib. So from matplotlib, but I don't want the whole matplotlib. I'm just going to import pyplot, pyplot, but I'm going to give it a nickname. I'm going to give it the nickname plt. So when I want pyplot, I just have to type plt. And there we go. Now, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do some formatting of what the thing looks like. Your Mosaic plot is going to have tiles. I'm going to give a face color to each tile and an edge color to each tile. So here's how I'm going to do that. First, I'm going to define this thing props, the properties, and I'm going to set it equal to just an open bracket. And here I'm going to put in the properties. So props, the first properties I'm going to put in are for females with college degrees. So I'm going to put a parenthesis inside of my bracket, and then the first thing in the parenthesis is going to be F. So I put a quotation with an F, then I put a comma between that. So those are the females, and I want the females who said yes. So the next one in the ordered pair here is going to be a Y. So here I'm going to format the properties of the female who said yes tile. And I'm going to set that equal to, well, the face color I'm going to give it. I'm going to put face color in quotation, face color. This is going to be the face color of the tile. And I'm going to let the face color of this tile be red. So that's the face color for the females that said yes. And then the next thing I want to do is I want to do the edge color. So the face is going to be red. The edge, on the other hand, I want it to be white. So I'm going to set the edge color with a colon to the color white. Notice all of those were in quotations individually. I'm going to do this for the other 3 tiles now. There's 4 tiles, one for females with degrees, one for females without, one for males with degrees, one for males without. So I'm going to do the other 3 now since I did females with degrees. The next one I'm going to do is females with no degrees. So I copy that, paste it, and just change this to an N. And I want them to be the same color, red. Then I'm going to do the next one, I'm just pasting. But now instead of females, I'm going to do males with degrees. I'm going to make that a different color. Let's make the face of that green. And then lastly, it's going to be the males with no degrees. I'm going to make the face color there green also, so that all the women are red and all the men are green. And the edge color for all of those is white. So now that I have that little formatting done, I'm going to actually create the Mosaic plot. Remember, we downloaded this function called Mosaic from stats models graphics mosaic plot. So I'm going to call that function mosaic, opening a parenthesis so I can give the parameters. The first parameter is, where does the data come from? Data. So I'm going to tell it the data comes from df, the data frame. So data equals df is the first parameter. The next parameter is going to tell me what variables I want to use from the df data frame. So I'm going to say index equals, and then I'm going to make a square bracket, and inside the square bracket I'm just going to put the two variables I want to use. So one of the variables was gender. Remember, you got to put that string in parentheses. You got to put gender in parentheses. Then I'm going to put a comma between gender and the other variable that I'm going to use, which is college plus degree. So those are the two variables that I want to put in the crosstab. Then I'm going to come out of that square bracket, make a parenthesis for the last parameter, which is properties. And the properties are just the props. That's what's going to give everything its color. The last thing I want to do, the last line of code, is to do plt, which is that pie plot dot show, so we can actually see the plot. Without that, we would not be able to see the plot. So when I run this, it gives me my contingency, or my mosaic plot. So here you can see the men are in green, so these are the males. And as you can see, it's obvious that there are more males that say no to college degree than males that say yes. And you see that visually, while there are more women that say yes than women that say no. So there are more women with college degrees than there are men with college degrees. So it seems as though college degree, yes or no, is not independent of gender. It seems like women on average, or women, there are more women with college degrees than there are men. So it doesn't seem like those two variables are dependent or independent. Sorry, it doesn't seem like they're independent. It actually seems like whether you have a college degree or not does depend on gender. It's dependent.